Representative Tim Kennedy just asked Secretary Markwayne Mullin a question about a man who died. The man's name was Nuru Amin Sha Alam. He was a refugee from Burma. He came to the United States legally with his wife and children in search of the American dream. He was blind. He had severe mobility issues. He spoke little to no English. On February 19th, he was detained by DHS agents determined he was here lawfully. Then they released him.
Instead, his 14 months in the United States came to a tragic end following his release from your department. On February 19th, Mr. Shah Alam was detained by DHS. DHS agents determined he was here lawfully.
They dropped him at a closed coffee shop in Buffalo, New York, in the dead of winter. He had no proper clothing. He had no way to contact his family. He had no resources. 5 days later, on February 24th, he was found dead on a street, 5 miles from his home. The cause of death was a stress ulcer, dehydration, and hypothermia. It was ruled a homicide.
Tragically, Mr. Shah Alam was found dead 5 days later on February 24th, 2026, on a street in the unforgiving Buffalo winter, 5 miles from his home.
I just want to say that I am familiar with this case.
His death was caused by a stress ulcer, dehydration, and hypothermia, and it's been ruled a homicide.
Kennedy asked Mullin if he was familiar with the case. Mullin said he was not. Then he said he was. Then he said it was under investigation. Kennedy asked why he had not received a response to his letter, sent the day after Mullin was sworn in on March 24th, demanding an investigation. Mullin apologized. He said he wanted to be responsive. 2 months. No response.
I apologize for not responding to you in 2 months. We want to really lean into that. In the past, I don't think.
Kennedy asked what Mullin has done to change the culture of DHS. Mullin said the previous administration took the teeth out of law enforcement. He said his predecessor turned a blind eye. He said his predecessor disgraced the department. Kennedy said it seems like Mullin is following right in her footsteps. Mullin said that is not true. He said Kennedy was telling lies. Kennedy said it is a flat lie. The chairman intervened. No attacks on character. The hearing continued. The questions remained unanswered. Let's watch.
Since you became secretary, what have you done to change the culture of your department and ensure the actions of all DHS officials are consistent with the Constitution and our values as Americans?
Underneath the previous administration, they took the teeth out from our law enforcement and DHS. My predecessor and myself were enforcing the law of the land, not turning a blind eye to it, and that's what Mayorkas did. He turned a blind eye to it.
Your predecessor is no longer here. She disgraced this department, and it seems like you are following right in her footsteps.
That is not true. Don't accuse me of something that's not true.
Without food,
sir, you can say all you want, but don't accuse me of something that's not accurate. You can sit there and tell lies all day long, and all it is a lie.
Gentlemen's time.
That's a flat-out lie, and you know it's a flat lie.
New York, Mr. Kennedy, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nuru Amin Sha Alam, Secretary Mullin, does that name mean anything to you?
I'm sorry, repeat that?
Nuru Amin Sha Alam. Does that name mean anything to you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I'm very saddened, heartbroken, and disgusted by that, quite frankly. Mr. Shah Alam was here lawfully in our country, arriving in Buffalo, New York as a refugee in December of 2024 with his wife and children. He and his family were in search of the American dream, a life free from persecution, free of genocide at the hands of their government, free from crimes against humanity, unimaginable to those of us that are lucky enough to be born in our free country. Mr. Shah Alam was promised a fate far different from what he'd been subjected to in Burma. Instead, his 14 months in the United States came to a tragic end following his release from your department. On February 19th, Mr. Shah Alam was detained by DHS. DHS agents determined he was here lawfully, and upon release, they dropped him at a closed coffee shop in Buffalo, New York in the dead of winter. That night, agents left him without proper clothing, without the care of his family, without any resources to find safety in near freezing temperatures. He was blind, disabled, spoke little to no English. His family, who filed a missing persons report days later, had no idea of his whereabouts or that he'd even been released. Tragically, Mr. Shah Alam was found dead 5 days later, on February 24th, 2026, on a street in the unforgiving Buffalo winter, 5 miles from
Congressman,
his home.
I just want to say that I am familiar with this case.
His death was caused by a stress ulcer, dehydration, and hypothermia, and it's been ruled a homicide. In the days following his passing, DHS claimed Mr. Sha Alam was dropped at a warm, safe location. DHS said he showed no signs of distress, mobility issues, or disabilities requiring special assistance. So, Mr. Secretary, yes or no, would you say that someone who's blind, has severe mobility issues, and who speaks a specific non-English dialect generally requires special assistance?
First of all, I need to correct my answer. I am familiar with this case. It is under investigation, and that's all I can say about it.
And would you say that the back of a dark parking lot in a closed coffee shop on a winter night in Buffalo without proper clothing is a warm, safe location?
It's under investigation, sir.
The family of Nuru Amin Sha Alam, the Burmese community, the people of Buffalo, refugees in every community in our country, and every single American deserves answers from your department. I've sent multiple letters to your department, including the day after you were sworn in on March 24th, demanding that DHS open an investigation into this case. I've received nothing in return.
I just told you twice, it's under investigation.
Okay, so why wouldn't you explain that and answer very simply in some sort of public response to the American people over 2 months ago? Over 2 months ago when this letter was written, and over 3 months ago when this man was found dead, and the last people that had any contact with him that we are aware of were your department.
I apologize for not responding to you in 2 months. We want to really lean into that. In the past, I don't think this department underneath anyone's leadership has been real responsive to Congress. I have changed that. We are trying to be as responsive to anybody that calls me, reaches out to me. That's not acceptable, 2 months. I agree with that. But we could have easily told you it was been under investigation.
So will you commit to providing my office and the people of this country with a timely response to my March 24th letter?
I just answered the question for your letter. If you want me to put it in writing, I can put it in writing
Yes,
for you.
we want it in
Give me
writing.
a piece of paper, I'll put it down for you.
Yeah, we want the American people to see what your department is doing. So this committee deserves answers. The people of this country deserve answers. Your predecessor, Kristi Noem, ran this department straight into the ground. Her conduct as secretary disgraced the brave career law enforcement officials who signed up to work at the Department of Homeland Security to protect their fellow citizens. Since you became secretary, what have you done to change the culture of your department and ensure the actions of all DHS officials are consistent with the Constitution and our values as Americans?
Underneath the previous administration, they took the teeth out from our law enforcement and DHS. My predecessor and myself were enforcing the law of the land, not turning a blind eye to it, and that's what Mayorkas did. He turned a blind eye to it.
Your predecessor is no longer here. She disgraced this department, and it seems like you are following right in her footsteps. Under your leadership,
that is
DHS
not true.
has
Don't
left
accuse me of something that's not
detainees
true.
Without food.
Sir, you can
or
say all you
medical
want,
care,
but don't accuse me of something that's not
congressional
accurate. You can sit there and tell lies all day long, and all it is a lie.
Gentlemen's time.
That's a flat-out lie, and you know it's a
thank
flat
you.
lie. That's a lie.
Time.
That is right.
That's a lie.
You know,
Gentlemen's time is expired. We will.
You know that's a lie. That's a lie. You know it's a lie.
Mr. Secretary, please, everyone. We will continue to do this hearing like we have done the ones in the past. I'm asking everyone, please, questions, answers. Do not attack each other's characters. That is something that is a violation of House rules. So, no attacking the Secretary's character. No.
I did not attack his character, Mr.
I'm
Chairman.
just saying the statement is for
I
everyone.
simply stated facts about the department.
What I'm saying right now
is not a fact. You can't point to a single fact that that's accurate.
Wait.
Mr. Chairman, I think the point is, if the witness is not addressing a question but making a statement, that's not a question. He shouldn't be allowed to ask.
The point is, we've had these hearings before. This is not the first time we've had a secretary in front of us. Members know how we do things around here since I become chairman. I'm trying to keep a lid on this. Members will ask questions. They know there are rules. You cannot attack other members. You cannot, questions can only be directed to me or the witnesses. Witnesses will answer the questions. When a member reclaims their time, the witness should give back that time. Nobody should be going after anyone's character. That is not how we do things. We will get back on track here. Again, questions answer, questions answer. This is not the first time. We are going to keep a lid on this hearing today. And when a member asks a question, they get to ask their question. The witness gets to answer it. They can't direct how the witness answers it. They can reclaim their time. They cannot tell the witness what to say. The witness is here and gets to answer the question that is asked. If the member does not like the answer and wants to get another question in before their time is expired, they can reclaim their time, and I will enforce that. But they can't be upset, and I don't want people talking over each other. That has been happening quite a lot today. So again, rules of decorum. Members will ask questions. Witnesses will answer the question. If the member doesn't like, if they want to get on to something else, they can reclaim their time.
This hearing is a masterclass in how one death can expose the rot in an entire department. Representative Tim Kennedy came to tell the story of Nuru Amin Sha Alam. He did not come with a legal argument. He did not come with a policy proposal. He came with a name, a story, a death, and he would not let the secretary look away. Sha Alam was a refugee. He fled genocide. He fled crimes against humanity. He came to the United States legally with his wife and children in search of the American dream. He was blind. He had severe mobility issues. He spoke little to no English. He was the most vulnerable person imaginable. And the Department of Homeland Security, the agency charged with protecting the vulnerable, dropped him at a closed coffee shop in Buffalo, New York, in the dead of winter. No coat, no phone, no way to contact his family, no way to get home. He died 5 days later, 5 miles from his home. The cause of death was hypothermia. It was ruled a homicide. Kennedy asked Mullin if the name meant anything to him. Mullin said no. Then he corrected himself. He said he was familiar with the case. It was under investigation. That is all he would say. Kennedy asked if a blind, disabled, non-English-speaking person generally requires special assistance. Mullin did not answer. He said it was under investigation. Kennedy asked if the back of a dark parking lot at a closed coffee shop on a winter night in Buffalo is a warm, safe location. Mullin did not answer. He said it was under investigation. Kennedy had sent letters. He had demanded answers. The day after Mullin was sworn in, March 24th, he sent a letter. 2 months passed. No response. Mullin apologized. He said he wanted to be responsive. He agreed that 2 months was not acceptable, but he did not explain why it happened. He did not explain who was responsible. He did not explain what would change. Then Kennedy asked the question that should be asked of every cabinet secretary. What have you done to change the culture of your department? Mullin did not talk about Sha Alam. He did not talk about reforms. He did not talk about training. He attacked the previous administration. He said they took the teeth out of law enforcement. He said his predecessor turned a blind eye. He said she disgraced the department. Kennedy said it seems like Mullin is following right in her footsteps. Mullin exploded. He said that was a lie. He said Kennedy was telling lies. He said all of it was a lie. The chairman intervened. No attacks on character. But the damage was done. The question is not whether Mullin is following in Noam's footsteps. The question is whether a man died because of the actions of his department. The facts are not in dispute. DHS detained Sha Alam. DHS determined he was here lawfully. DHS released him at a closed coffee shop in winter without proper clothing. He died. That is not a lie. That is a tragedy. And the Secretary of Homeland Security cannot answer for it. He cannot explain why it happened. He cannot explain what he has done to prevent it from happening again. He can only attack. He can only deflect. he can only call questions lies. Kennedy did his job. He brought a name into the record. He told a story. He demanded answers. He did not get them. But he made sure that no one in that room could pretend they did not know. Nuru Amin Sha Alam died because the department that was supposed to protect him failed him. The secretary says it is under investigation. That is not enough. The American people deserve answers. The Burmese community deserves answers. The family deserves answers. And they deserve a secretary who will look them in the eye and tell them the truth.